Hello, my name is Amanda Hibbert. I am a photographer and the director of the documentary feature film, Elegance, a Women's Rugby Story. This film is a passion project for me. I started it as a photography essay, a photojournalist documentary type project. And after photographing several teams in the DC area for their spring season, I thought that perhaps I should interview some people to get them to talk about playing rugby and what that means to them and their experiences. And eventually I thought, well, maybe I should also film some of the game footage so people can see what they're talking about, not just with the still images, but also with, the video. And I came to realize that it, in fact, was a film and not a photography project. So that was pretty interesting development. I started photographing the teams about 2 to 3 years ago, right before I moved to San Francisco, essentially. And when I moved to San Francisco, I reached out to a few teams in the Bay Area, and the only team that got back to me was the Berkeley All Blues. So I was able to film their national championship season last fall, and I followed them to Philadelphia. I didn't get to go to all of their games abroad, or not abroad, but around the U.S. because they're in the WPL, the Women's Premier League, and quite frankly, I couldn't afford to travel as much as they did, and I'm impressed that they do. And then, as I was talking with the All Blues, they told me how several of their teammates were in the Eagles player pool and how one of their teammates was in the player pool for USA Sevens and that she might be going to the Olympics in 2016. And I thought to myself, oh, the World Cup would be a great addition besides the club level to the documentary story. So that's how I ended up in France 8 months about 8 months later, filming the USA Eagles in France. Worked with USA Rugby, worked with the IRB to be here to be able to film. And essentially ended up following several players through the selection process to the World Cup, which is part of the reason why I'm having the Indiegogo campaign, because even though I couldn't follow the All Blues to all their WPL games, I thought it was important to go to the UK tour and the World Cup tour because that's when, it's the climax of and the pinnacle of rugby in the United States and the world. These women are playing at the highest level of rugby, and it should be captured. It should be shared, and their experiences should be known because of all their hard work and all their sacrifice to get here. For some of the players, it's been a 10-year process. For some people, it's been a 2-year process. One of the girls, women, she actually went to Virginia Tech like I did when I played rugby. And although she didn't play on the rugby team, she played softball. And I find it quite fascinating that she started playing rugby 2 years ago on a club team, and now she's here at the World Cup. And I think that really represents one of the great things about rugby. You can be any size and shape. As long as you can run around for 80 minutes and do your job on the field, you can play. And she learned, natural athletes all around here, but just being able to pick up a sport and play at its peak level is quite amazing. And I think that, I hope I express that through the film, is that no matter what your skill level, you can play rugby, you can have fun. It's exercise. It's empowering as a woman to be able to tackle someone and exert your physical prowess. I know I loved it when I played in college. And my college experience was a turning point for me in my life. It created friendships that have lasted for over 10 years. And even though we don't live anywhere near each other, I can call any one of those people at any time and we can talk. And it's like there's no space between us. And I think by watching the film, you'll find out the same thing is true for anyone who plays on a team, who travels with a team. It's quite a defining relationship building moment to sweat on a field with people and tackle someone together. And it's just a experience that I think everyone should have. And that's one of the reasons why I'm making this film. The other reason why I'm making this film is because when we were in the UK, there were a couple of British guys at a hotel, and they were all excited that the USA Rugby team was there because they heard that USA Rugby was coming up in the world. And then they realized it was the women's team. And they said they weren't disappointed, but their faces said it all. And I want to make a film that makes those guys want to watch a film about women's rugby in the US. So that's why I'm making the film. And just to give you a brief overview of what the film's about, we follow the World Cup team. We're following the Berkeley All Blues. There's also going to be a part about the history of rugby in the U.S. I don't think everyone really knows what it is, and I'm still working on discovering it myself, so that'll be interesting. And on top of that, one of the All Blues players, she's allowed me to document her recovery from a 3 ligament tear in her knee, and she plans on returning to rugby. And I hope that she does, because she loves it. She's so passionate about it, and I really hope she gets to play again. Or she can work through everything she has to do to be able to play again. So it's a little bit about me in the film, and if you're watching this, you're either on the YouTube or the Indiegogo page, and I would love it if you could essentially buy me a virtual beer and give me $10 for the film so I don't go totally broke being in France and going to the UK. If not, just, sign up for the newsletter so you know what's going on with the film. I just want people to know about it, and so that when the film does go to a film festival, because it will, we'll have a fan base already built in that I can actually get a distributor and to pick it up, and we can really share this. The release date, or not the release date, but the film is planned to be finished editing and submitted to a film festival in 2015, and then it will be actually premiered at a film festival in 2016, and that's the long-term plan. Still have a few other storylines to film, like the history, the injury storyline with the injured player, and also I'm in talks with Cal, Berkeley, and Stanford to film a true rookie season. So that'll be this fall, and that'll be interesting. And since it's in the Bay Area, I won't have to travel as much, which would be nice in terms of finances. So anyway, I hope you found this interesting, and just follow the Instagram or follow the tweets, and I'll keep putting out content, and hopefully you'll enjoy it. So Saturday's Rugby Day.